This is the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Schola in the Narrowgate Security Agency studios.
It's the antithesis of Martin Luther King Jr.'s message. It's the antithesis of our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, our Charters of Liberty that says all men are created equal.
With more killings across the nation and the world, Americans are on edge. Today, we're joined by a man who's calling for people to unite, a black pastor who's married to a white woman. They have 5 beautiful children, and through a powerful video posted online, this family is hoping to make a difference during a very tumultuous time. We'll talk about that video and much more with Alex Bryant, executive pastor at New Life Church in Oak Grove, Missouri. The Republican convention takes center stage this week. Donald Trump has chosen Mike Pence as his running mate. The two will speak to the nation from Cleveland this week. A hacker who targeted Sarah Palin is sentenced. A brand new installment of Liberty and Legacy with Tamara Colbert is on the way from Texas. And Sarah Steelman has the latest edition of Steel Resolve from Missouri. Welcome to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. The Palin Update is sponsored by Narrowgate Security Agency. Learn more at narrowgate.com. After several shootings across the country, including the murder of 5 Dallas police officers, a man in Missouri is giving his thoughts without saying a word through cue cards. Alex Bryant has delivered a powerful message from the heart. Bryant, a church pastor, and his family are featured in this video that has made a lot of people think. And now the man who created the video, Alex Bryant, joins us here on Mama Grizzly Radio, the Palin Update. Pastor Bryant, thank you for being with us, sir.
Hey, how you doing? It's my pleasure.
Doing well, and I got to tell you, I don't even know how I stumbled across your video. I think it was just shared to one of my social media pages by a friend or a associate, and I clicked on it, and I watched the whole thing, and I got to tell you, I was waiting to see what you were going to say and what was going to happen, and I watched with bated breath. I love the Subterranean Homesick Blues Bob Dylan deal with the cue cards, and that caught my attention, but let's tell people, and we're going to put a link up, and everybody can go ahead and watch the video for themselves, but let's tell people what you did in short and why you did it in detail.
Yeah. Well, we, in response to all the violence and the chaos that's going on in our nation, my family and I put together a video, and, in response to the 2 young black men that were shot and then the police being shot in Dallas. We just wanted to do something just to talk to our kids, really. I'm a biracial couple, my wife and the white lady, I'm a black man, and so our kids are always asking, how does this affect us? What does this mean? And so we wanted to let them know what our response was, and it's just something that we felt like we wanted to share with everyone. So we put together a video, and the whole point was that we didn't have to pick a side. We don't have to be on anyone's side. All sides have messed up, and all sides need to come together, and so that's what that was.
And you have that perspective too, like you said, a biracial household, if you will. Obviously this is something that's affecting everybody of all races, not just black and white, but all Americans. But here, right in your own home, you can say, you're a black man married to a white woman. You have these wonderful 4 children, right?
5 children.
5
4
children.
Boys and a little girl.
I know. At first, the other thing about the video, I said, another boy. I started to really pray for your heart until the lovely daughter showed up, because I know with just one son how hectic it can get. But
that's what everybody says.
But you had such a calm to this, and I think the way you went about it without actually speaking and using the cards really made people pay more attention to you. Was that by design?
That was really kind of, I just felt like I was inspired really by God. I mean, my wife always says to me that I'm a little bit verbose, and so when I told her that I had this idea, she goes, well, go downstairs and write it up. And so when I wrote it in bullet points. Oftentimes I journal, but that came in bullet points. And I just started numbering the bullet points, and the idea came to me to make this in a flip, with cards, note cards, and not say anything. And so I'd never seen the Bob Dylan song. I've heard that reference since then, but it just came to me. My wife wrote it out, and we just put it up there. I just wanted the words to speak for themselves and not have me just ramble on like pastors sometimes do.
Yeah, and as a pastor, how has that affected this? Not only the creation of it, but what's been the response from those that are close to you and those that you preach
Yeah,
to?
yeah, man. We're in a unique situation now. We about a year ago we moved to a different church. We were ministering in St. Louis, Missouri, at the St. Louis Dream Center, right in the heart of the city, and we were there in the midst of Ferguson when that all went on. Predominantly black congregation, and we saw it from a different perspective. We saw the way people thought and the way they were, and the way they felt about that. And so when we moved here to Oak Grove last year, we're at a congregation that's predominantly white, and man, our pastors and our staff, our lead pastors, Pastor Todd Blancett, and he just does a wonderful job of being cognizant of the different races. And he's a white guy, and man, we're loving on kids. Our church is big on foster care and adoption. Many of the kids that are adopted are black kids from the inner city of Kansas City, and so he just does it. He's intentional about making sure that we are coming together and really doing away with racism, doing away with prejudice. And so, man, they actually do things at this church to make that a reality. And so we're so blessed that our church has been so welcoming and overwhelming with the support. Everyone there is wonderful. And, we just want love to be the language that we speak.
Well, whether it's through our church or through my children's athletics and softball and baseball and just their friends in general and school and whatnot and our friends, I am not seeing from a personal level a racial divide. I mean, quite the contrary. I mean, the friends of all races and backgrounds are in our house back and forth all the time, and especially, and you have 5 kids, I have 2. To look at our children, I mean, the way they look at things, that's the greatest. I mean, there's nothing there as far as color, as far as, only in a positive way sometimes. And so are you noticing really that there is a split as far as people in everyday lives, or is it just that we are inundated not only by television and radio, but with social media now? Some of the images and some of the things that we're seeing makes it seem worse than it is because those with a megaphone are divided or are trying to be divided?
Yeah, I can't speak for, all of America. My perspective is probably a little bit of both, and I do think that there is a racial divide. I've seen it, from the perspective of having spent a couple of years in St. Louis and 5 minutes from Ferguson and seeing that. And then even when I watch the news, I usually try to catch a little bit of CNN and Fox. I've always felt like I'm supposed to be a uniter and to see everybody's perspective. And then, coming to I've been a part of white America, if you will, at a couple of large churches that are predominantly white. And I do think that there is a divide, but I think that people want to come together and bridge that divide, but we just don't know how. I think a lot of people just don't know how. And that's really kind of what what our response to it is. We have to bridge the divide. My kids wake up every day and see a white mom and a black dad, and I know many well-meaning white people would say, "Hey, I don't see race," and that's wonderful, but I do. I see it every single day, and I'm okay with seeing race. I'm okay with seeing color. That's not what prejudice or racism is. When we act upon that in a negative way, that's what really makes it racist or prejudice. So I think it's okay to see color, but I think that we should then let love be the thing that unites us, and we should try to look past that color. People describe me as a big bald black man, and I'm okay with that. But I want them to get to know me and make their judgments on me based on my character, my content, not just the external things that they see. And so so I say both, and I think that the media does, hype things up, and they love to show a lot of the bad stories, and I don't like it when I see all those, because that stuff seems to catch people's attention. But some of it is there, but we as Christians, we have to work to just make an impact where we can, and do all the good we can, for as long as we can, in every place that we can. And so that's what we want to try to do.
And is that the hope of the video? As you said, people may not know the how, but at least they'll know the what they want to do. You see this video and say, "Yeah, I want to unite." Is that the overall hope?
Yeah, when I just felt like this was just an inspiration from God, and I And when I posted that, I just felt like God was saying to me, Alex, you're just supposed to be used as a catalyst. And I feel like he's saying he's going to give other people ideas of what to do and how to do it to just continue to bring about the change, the racial reconciliation that we all need. And even just the enlightenment that this isn't a black or white thing, but this is a dark versus light thing, that this is evil that's entered the world versus God, who is ultimately going to win, but wants to pour out his spirit. And so I just really feel like God was just saying to me, Alex, I'm not giving you the whole plan. I'm just giving you a part of it, and you do your part, and then that'll inspire other people to step in and bring other pieces to the puzzle. And so that's really what we wanted to do. We have some ideas of things that we want to do to follow this up, but I'm just waiting to see what God wants to do. So.
And in that realm, the verdict is already in, and we could all be happy about it, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you before we let you go, and we really do appreciate you spending time with us, and those who have not seen the video yet, please check it out on our Facebook page. We'll have it up everywhere. We'll be tweeting it out this week as well. Your thoughts on the presidential election? You have a family, obviously people across America from all different stripes are talking about this, looking into this, and, the race is on here and full steam with the conventions. Donald Trump, is that your guy?
I am right now. I can't see myself voting for Hillary. I think that, when I look at the integrity that I'd like for the leader to have, that's where I'm at. And I think we need change, and so, that I am voting for Mr. Trump. I voted for him in the primary, and he has my vote right now. And I love it now that we have Mr. Pence as his running mate. He seems to be a strong, Christian man, and I think that they could be the team that brings about the change that we need.
Isn't it nice to actually vote for the guy in the primary who gets the nomination? I don't think I've done that in my life other than an incumbent. I did the same thing, Trump, and then he won it. And after not doing that the last two cycles, it's nice to have your guy to really be enthusiastic about instead of just voting against someone.
A lot of people, this election has been very much a dividing thing. And I think that was a result of the media that was just putting a lot of firestorm on trying to make a joke out of, Donald Trump. And, you can't look at a man who has done what he's done in the business world and call him a joke. And, I think right now it's going into legacy. And so people, I think they do, the overall majority gets those little snippets of, Trump's a joke. And people don't really know him. They've not seen what he's done, and they haven't really done their research. They're just buying what the media is feeding them. And so we were on the Trump train, my wife and I, from the beginning, and we took a lot of flack for it. A lot of my friends are like, how can an educated person vote for Donald Trump? And I'm like, we'll see where it goes. It is what it is. There's things about him that I wish, wasn't, but, there's no such thing as a perfect candidate. And I think that he's going to evolve, and he's going to make some of the decisions and bring some people around him that will give him the wisdom to govern and lead. And I think he's the man for the time. So it was nice, man. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, folks, if you haven't seen the video yet, please, again, check it out. It's powerful. It's great. It caught us, serendipity, or maybe God put it there for us. I don't know, but I was happy to check it out. And Pastor Alex Bryant, so gracious of you to join us on such short notice. And we'll be definitely keeping tabs on you, see what is next for you and your endeavors. But we'll be praying for you, sir. And thank you for getting a real message of common sense and a message of love out there.
Well, thank you, sir. Thanks for your time.
You can see Pastor Bryant's video by going to the Mama Grizzly Radio Facebook page. Donald Trump has selected Mike Pence as his running mate, the Indiana governor, scheduled to speak at the Republican National Convention Wednesday night and accept the nomination for VP. Trump will address the nation and the RNC Thursday night. A hacker after Sarah Palin has been busted. Palin writing on Facebook this past week, always nice to share some victory and justice with you all. Perhaps you remember a few years ago a website illegally published my private and financial information. The disturbed hacktivist who did it finally got busted and is now sentenced. He certainly adversely impacted my family, but doesn't it seem these issues that continually crop up to try to bring us down merely strengthen our spine as we win the battles against the haters time after time after time? Thank the Lord. I hope you're looking at your challenges that same way. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Palin includes some links on this story. You can access all of them on the Mama Grizzly Radio Facebook page. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety, visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page, follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA, and check out sarahpac.com.
Now, the Palin Update with Kevin Scholla presents Liberty and Legacy. Here's Tamara Colbert.
Fear. Fear stands for false evidence as reality. I love that. I learned that from Miss Yvonne up in Wichita Falls, Texas this week. And we were talking about fear. A lot of Americans are fearful over the last couple of weeks. Wow, we've had a lot of stuff going on, both in our nation and around the world. Coup attempts, snipers murdering our incredible police officers. We've had terrorist attacks. People are fearful. But you know what? We have a tool. We shouldn't be fearful. Our founding fathers weren't fearful. They tackled challenges by providing solutions, and they did it head on. And the Convention of States project, what I'm working on here in Texas and around the country, I love it because I get to tell Americans every single day, do not lose hope, never surrender. We have a solution bigger than the problem, which is the federal government. I love it. Convention of States project. We are using Article 5. We are elevating a constitutional dialogue, educating both citizens and our state legislators to talk about a way to put the federal government back in its tiny little constitutional box, which I love imagining that, because they have long ago overstepped their bounds. And it infringes upon all of our rights. And we're losing our country as a result. But I can tell you, and I've seen it this week because I've been out in a lot, hours and hours drive from my house, 6 hours at one point away from my house, talking to people who have come out to hear a solution that is going to stop the federal government, that is going to give citizens an opportunity to return that power, to reclaim the Constitution and restore the rule of law. And folks, it's radical. It's revolutionary, but it's the most reasonable way for us to combat those folks on Capitol Hill who think they're smarter than we are. And the fact is, they aren't. They live in a bubble. They get chauffeured to the office every day. I get to work with Senator Tom Coburn. He's working with the grassroots now because he knows firsthand that Washington, D.C. is the problem. They will never fix the problem. So it is up to you and I, as the guardians of liberty, to tackle the most heinous and crazy, biggest challenges America is facing today, and we can do it right here from our states. You have to learn more. If you haven't heard me talk about this enough, you can visit conventionofstatesproject.com and learn everything about it. I want you to sign up. Please, we are active in your states. We passed in 8 states so far, and there are more coming. And I love it because my Texas governor, Greg Abbott, endorsed us on January 8, 2016. And it's a privilege. And you know what? He knows we don't need him. It's amazing. We don't need his signature to pass our resolution. But you know what? He realized as a constitutional attorney, as an attorney general for the state of Texas, who sued the federal government 31 times, more than any attorney general in the history of our nation, that there was only one way to restore the rule of law. Something this man holds near and dear, close to his heart, and has spent a lifetime studying, and that is Article 5 of the Constitution. Folks, this is our time. There is an election coming up, but you know what? We need to not be so worried and anxiety-ridden and fearful of who gets elected president. It shouldn't matter. Because a president should merely be a champion of American values and a beacon of liberty to the rest of the world. He or she should never, ever be able to use their pen and their phone to dictate unconstitutional edicts and fake laws. It should never happen. It isn't in their responsibility. It is not constitutional. So it is up to us. And we get to restore the rule of law and restore the Constitution through Article 5. And I am proud to say I met some amazing Texans over the last week who are ready to do that, who are tired of being fearful, who are looking for a solution. And the only way that we're going to be able to fix the challenges, the biggest challenges facing our nation, is going to be standing together, elevating a constitutional dialogue to have those tough decisions about overspending, debt, tightening the belt, and I mean at the federal level, at the state level, so that we can fix this nation and elevate the job creators and unleash the small business owners and the entrepreneurs and our students and let them be released of the thousands and thousands of pages of regulations. Did you know that more than 81,000 pages of regulations were posted to the Federal Register in 2015? In our lifetime, we could never read that. And that is what is being passed every year, 80,000 pages of regulations in 2014, 79,000 pages of regulations in 2013. How can we ever keep up? It's impossible. It's ludicrous. It's ridiculous. It's the way the federal government gets to try to control us. Folks, we were founded as self-governing individuals, knowing the best about what is best for us and our communities and our states. The federal government was born from the states and not the other way around. But Washington has forgotten that, and it's time for you and I to put them back in that little tiny constitutional box. I am asking you to join me this week by going to conventionofstates.com, signing up to volunteer, sign up to support, to show up when the legislative session starts in your state in January. Sign petitions and make phone calls to your legislators. And then you can tweet me at Tamara Colbert, hashtag Mama Grizzly Radio, and let me know you did it. Folks, we're going to do this together. We are going to restore the rule of law. Sarah Palin has endorsed this. Bristol Palin has endorsed this. We love them. We are going to move in this nation, and we are going to elevate it. And why is that? Because liberty belongs to everyone. And never forget that liberty loves company. For Mama Grizzly Radio, I'm Tamara Colbert.
Tamara Colbert in Texas. Tune in for more Liberty and Legacy next week. And to learn about Convention of States, head to conventionofstates.com. Now our weekly commentary, Steel Resolve. Here's Sarah Steelman.
Thanks, Kevin. We have done it without having to fight. We have done it without a bullet being fired. Dare to dream that the dawn is breaking on an independent nation. These are the words of Nigel Farage after Brexit passed. Nigel Farage is my new hero. He is one smart guy. And he went on further to say, this is a victory for ordinary people, for good people, for decent people, he said, the people who've had enough of the merchant bankers. All the economic naysayers are ridiculous and careless. In economics, there are always trade-offs. Some are better off, some are worse off. Trump pointed this out with his comments about the British pound, but most people were too stupid to connect the dots. If the British pound falls relative to all other currencies, then that is good for British exports and British tourism because goods are cheaper. The British banks who went long on the pound may not be better off in the short run, but that was speculative to begin with. And once these regulations are removed or reduced, it will be easier to start and run businesses, retain profits, and invest in the future. Brexit is the British shot heard round the world. Rule Britannia. This is Sarah Steelman from Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tune in again next week for another segment of Steel Resolve right here on the Palin Update. The Palin Update, including Liberty and Legacy and Steel Resolve, is on demand and available for download. So just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also, like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook and follow along on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Tamara Colbert, and at Sarah_Steelman. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Go to Breitbart.com and search Kevin Scholla. I want to thank Sarah Steelman, Tamara Colbert, and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thanks to Alex Bryant, and thank you for listening today. A special thanks to our sponsor, Narrowgate Security Agency. Visit narrowgate.com. The Palin Update is produced by Lena Anderson, the Andy L. Kramer, and Lori Ann Lewis. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update right here on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.